Hi, lovely people. You are welcome back to Physique Fashion House channel. My name is Fola. We appreciate as many that has been subscribing to this channel. Thank you very much. Or if you are yet to subscribe, do well to subscribe today. Thank you. Today we'll be learning how to make a shoulder dart dress with stylish center front buttons. Let's go. So for this project, these are the materials we'll be using. I'll be using this cotton fabric. I'll be using cotton lining as well to line it. I'll be using these two nets. You can use any net of your choice. You can use a flowery net. For the sake of this teaching, I'll be using these two nets. And I'll be using this African print, Ankara, for the Ankara part of the project. And here I've come with my cover button. I use this African cotton Ankara to make these buttons. I'll be needing like 10 for the bodice part. And I'll be using this wording. I will just have to gum it to my cotton fabric. So then I'll be using fusible interfacing as well. That is hairstay. I will have to gum hairstay first before I attach this. So let's go. I've come with basic bodice pattern for this dress because we'll be focusing on the bodice part of this dress. So you are good to attach any down part of your choice. Here I have my half length of 17 inches. 17 inches is the half length, which is the waistline. We have 8.5 as our chest line, 10.5 bust points, 13.5 under bust line. Then here I have my joining allowance. This is the joining allowance to attach your down parts, and I have that is half an inch, and I have half an inch up here. This is my starting point. So the next thing we are going to do is to get our horizontal measurements, and the bust I'm working with is 36. I divide it by 4. It gives me 9 inches. So I get my 9 inches on the chest line. This is 9 inches. And before I get my waist, let me quickly draw out the cup. So on the under bust line, we come to this side with half an inch. Then I come to this side with 1.5. You can use 2 inches if you are dealing with a plus size. So the size I'm dealing with here is a bust 36. So I get the same thing at the waist line here, half inch, 1.5. Then I connect it. Here, I connect from this point, from under bust to my bust point with my off rule this way. I do the same thing here. Then I come to my shoulder line. I divide what I'm having here. I have 4 inches here. I divide it into 2. So that's 2 inches. From here, I connect to this chest line. Just this way. Let me just blend here. Here is not meant to be sharp. So I get my waist now. The waist measurement we are working with is 28. We divide 28 by 4. It gives us 7 inches. We measure 7 inches here. We return that which we are having inside here, which is 2 inches. The under bust measurement we are working with is 27. We divide 27 by 4. It gives us 6.75. We return 2 inches we are having there. Then we just connect it. Before we move on to create our side darts, for the cup area to be formed here, what we do in this chest line is that we come to this side by 1 inch. You come to this side with half an inch. Then you connect it. We are having 1.5 here now. This 1.5, you return it this end. So which means you are connecting from here to here. So you connect from here to the shoulder. Before we cut it out now, what we do is that we'll be using 1.5 to get our side dart. You measure 1.5 here. So we are not making use of this line again. So this 1.5, you connect to this end. So before we close our dart, we are going to cut out this pattern first. Before we cut out, we are going to create another armhole to connect to this. This is our new armhole. So we had our seam allowance up here. So let me cut this. I want to close this dart. This is the pattern for the front cut now. So when you are using it to cut out your fabric, half an inch will be added to this side. Half an inch will be added to this side. Then for the side seam, 1 inch. 1 inch will be added to the side. So this is the front cut. So let's move straight to the back cut. Then another thing you will do is that for this front cut, when you are cutting the front cut for this project, the center front is opened. So when you, after cutting it, you open your center front, half an inch will be added to both. So you are going to cut this on fold. After cutting it on fold, share it into two. You are going to share it into two. But before you do that, when you fold your fabric for the center front, ensure that you had half an inch. You will see it by the time I cut it out with the fabric. Now to draw the back cut now, I've come with basic pattern for the back. So for the back now, we are having 15.5. You know, for the front, it was 17 inches. 1.5 has been used for bust dart. So 17 inches minus 1.5 remain 15.5. So that is the waist length for the, that's the half back. I discovered that my mic just went off, so I need to explain some things I did before I draft this. So on this line, I get my bust span of 3.5. I get it here as well, 3.5. I roll it down straight. Then on it, I come to the left and to the right with half an inch. Then I connect it this way. Before I connect it from the chest line, I come down with 1 inch. Then I connect it. Just that's. But then I now come to the shoulder line, shoulder slope. I measure what I'm having here. I have 4 inches. So I get the midpoint, which is 2 inches. So I will just connect it from here. I connect to this end. Yeah. Okay. I measure 1 inch allowance here, 1 inch, 1 inch, I rule it. So we are not making use of it. That is why I didn't really let it obvious. We are not making use of it in the sense that we are not putting zipper at the back, because our dress is having a stylish button in the front, center front. So we don't need any zipper at the back again. So in that wise, I will just shape the back. So on this line, let me just cut off this 1 inch. I will shape my back, because whether you are fixing zipper or not, it's always good to shape your back to avoid bulging at the center back. So I'll come in on this waistline. I come in with half an inch. I step up like 2 inches here from the chest line. So I connect it this way. I'll be cutting this off by the time we are cutting. So now, what I'll do is to measure my waist on the waistline. The waist measurement we are working with is 28. I divide it by 4. It gives us 7 inches. So from this line, I get my 7 inches. 7 inches. Then this darts of 1 inch, I return it. So this is my chest line. My bust measurement has been measured here, which is 9 inches. So all I do is to connect it. I connect my bust to the waist, just the way you see me doing. So now let me add my seam allowance up here at the shoulder line, half an inch, half an inch. Then I connect it. I'll just go ahead and cut it now. So note that side seam has not been added to this as well. So when we are using this to cut out our fabric, half an inch will be added here, half an inch. Here, 1 inch will be added as a seam allowance. Here, half an inch will be added. Then at the center back, half an inch will be added to join the center back together. So we'll just go straight and use it to cut out our fabric now. Before we use it and cut out our fabric, let me just shape here a bit. There is no breast at the back cut, so it has to be blended. You don't experience any pump up. I've gone ahead to cut out the fabric. This is the front piece. This is the center front. You can see half an inch is added here, and half an inch is added by the side. And we have gone ahead to gum our Physique interfacing, that is a hairstay, and the wording is attached, is gummed to the front cut. You can see it. This is the center front. This is the side front. 1 inch is added here, and half an inch is added to the armhole, and this side wording is gummed to it. This is it. We have it here, and this is the lining. Lining is cut out the same way. This is the lining for the center front. I use the same fabric to cut out the lining for the center front, but cutting lining is used for the side. That's for the front cut. And this is the back cut. Half an inch is being added here. We have gum our interfacing to it, and this is the lining. So 1 inch is added by the side as a seam allowance, and the half an inch is added to the armhole cuff. And for the neckline of the back, I later come down a bit with half an inch, making 1.5 that I use for the depth of my neckline for the back. So you are good to go with 1 inch. I just feel as you use 1.5 for this project. So the next thing we go and do now is to, first of all, I will go and do the joining. But first of all, I will join the center back. This is the center back. This is the center back. I will join the lining with the half an inch seam allowance. I will join it here. I will join the main fabric with half an inch. Then I will open and iron very well for this to become one. Before I now start joining the darts area together. So that is for the back. I will join the darts area and I open it and iron very well. I'll come and show you the outcome when I'm done. For the front, the center front, I won't join it together. That is where our button loops will be fixed. The center front center front will not be joined together. All I'll do is that I'll go ahead and join the darts area together. I do the same thing to the second side, and the lining will be done the same way. I will join the lining to lining, fabric to fabric. That is what we are doing. I will join it by the darts region. I will join it together with that half an inch and open and iron very well. So that is what I'll go and do now, and I'll come and show you the results. We have gone ahead to join our piece together. This is the outcome. This is the front piece. This is it. This is the inner part, and this is the back. This is the wrong side of the back. This is it here. We have joined it together, and we have gone ahead to do the lining the same way. This is the back lining. It's been done the same way, and this is the front lining. So the next thing we want to do now is to go ahead and join the front and back together. But before we do that, we'll first of all attach our loophole where the button will be inserted to this piece. So and how do we achieve that? You will just go ahead and cut out strip like 1/4 of an inch. This is 1/4 of an inch with any length. For the bodice alone, we'll be needing like 20 for this front bodice. If you want to attach it to the down part of your dress, That is, I told you can use any down part of your choice. It could be gathers, it could be straight, it could even be flare. But all you need to know is that open the center front of whichever down parts you use, so that the button will be applied therein. And that is the as long as the length of your front center front is, that is what will determine the loophole you need to cut out. For this one, we are taking care of only the front bodies. So we will need, let me see, if I measure here now, you're having like 14 inches now, and the loophole has to be closer. So I may end up needing like 20 for this front, because it will be like half of an inch interval. So, and to achieve that, I told you are going to get this 1/4 by whichever length you need. So I've come out with the one. Then this 1/4, all you need to do is just to, fold it this way. Then you go and sew it down, just like this. And I've come with this. As it is now, you are going to measure like 2 inches. Measure like 2 inches. This one now, I'm going to cut out 2 inches, as many that I can get here, just to show you sample how it's going to be. So let me use this for the illustration now. We have our neckline here, which is 3 inches. It got to this point. That is where your loophole will be starting from. That's why the time we measure here, that's why we are having like a 14.5 or so here. The neckline depth has been excluded. So what you do now is that you are going to place your fabric. This is the lining. This is the main fabric. You place the right side on the right side this way. You'll be using like a half an inch to join, or quarter of an inch to join your neckline together. So just ensure that you step down with like half an inch before you start inserting your loophole. And your loophole will be placed this way. You can see the way I fold it is going to be this way. So you will know. You can, as a matter of fact, what you do is that on your main fabric, place this way. Just the way, leaving like half an inch, you place it this way, you run machine on it. That will be done in your machine. You stitch, you place another one, everything is in place, as many as you need it. You grab another one, you place it, you sew it down. Grab another one, you sew it down. That's how you will do till you get to the down part. So after doing that, so you will now place your lining on it. You will now run that half an inch. You will run on your lining again. So by the time you now turn it to the right side, you will be having your loophole here. So that is what I want to go and do now. So thereafter, I join the neckline of the lining and the fabric of the back. I join it together. I join the neckline together, turn it up, stitch on the lining. I will do the same thing for the, I will do the same thing for the main fabric. Even before I start inserting this my loophole, I will have joined the neckline together with quarter of an inch. I've top stitch. Thereafter, I open this lining before I now start doing that. Then I place my lining back and run stitch on it with that half an inch seam allowance we are having here. So that is what I want to go and do now, and I'll come and show you the outcome. Here we have it. I've gone ahead to join all these loophole to our bodies. You can see how beautiful it looks. I top stitch here, and for this side, I just go ahead and join the neckline. I join the lining and the fabric together, top stitch. Then I stitch this side with half an inch seam allowance. Then I top stitch. But for here, I did the way I explained to you earlier, and I've joined the front and back of the bodies together. So the only thing that remains now is just to join the side. I'll go ahead and join the side, lining to lining with our 1 inch seam allowance, lining to lining, fabric to fabric. I'll do the same thing here. And we'll be making use of our needle and thread to tag the button. And the way the button is going to be tagged, you can see what we are having here. So when I tack my button in this first one, after tacking the button, I will insert it. I won't tack it in the second one. I will just go straight to the third one. So I'll be omitting one, fix. But so By so doing, I must have marked the area where my button will be tagged just by placing it this way. Ensure that it matches up here. Then you use your pencil or whatever material you want to use to mark it this way. You move to the third one, you omit the next one, move to the third one, mark it, omit this, mark this. So you can see my marking. That's the way I will do everything till I get to the last one. That's the way my button is going to be tagged. So let me just go and do that one. I will go ahead and join the side and tap my button and show you the final result. Here we have the outcome of our bodice. You can see how beautiful it looks. I've gone ahead to tag the button, skipping one and fixing it in the next. Note that the button I use here is a size 22. If you are using anything bigger than this size, the loophole you are going to, we use a 2 inches length. So it means you have to increase the length of your loophole. That is, yours might be 2.5 or 3 inches. So that is that. Let me just show you the inner parts. This is the inner parts or wrong side of our dress. So you can see how everything looks neat with a inseam finishing. So that is how it's going to be in this lesson. Because of our time, I won't be able to go into the sleeve part of this beautiful top, but I promise that in my next video, I'll be working on the sleeve part of these bodies in our lessons. So I'm very sure you have enjoyed this video. Like it, like this video. Drop your comments on the comment section. Share this video, share the link with your friends and family. And if you have not subscribed till now, make sure you subscribe today. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. I will see you in my next video.